Yesterday, you guys got to be engineers and build a huge tower for your toy. Today, I want to look at what are some of those things that engineers actually build. Things that an engineer builds or a person builds in order to solve a problem is called a technology. You have technology all around you. Today, under this cloth, I have some really cool technologies I want to show you. Let's see if we can't figure out what problems they were trying to solve. All right, let's start with an easy one. Does anybody know what this is? This is a rain gauge. You stick it in the ground, and when it rains, you can tell how many inches of rain you have. This is a technology. Humans had to make this in order to figure out how much rain we got that night, or over a period of time. We had to be sure that these numbers were right in the right spot, and were perfectly good so that we know that 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inches, all of that. This was engineered. Let's see what else I got under here. Oh, this is fun. Does anybody know what this is? This is a microscope. You look through, you put a specimen or something really small right here on this tray, and then you look through and you can see it really, really close. It's like a magnifying glass that you can make things bigger and bigger and bigger. This helps us see really, really small things. Think about all the engineering that had to go into this. How do we increase, or we can move the tray? We can turn the focus here, right? We can actually even reflect some light up through the bottom here so that we can see what the object is. There's a lot of engineering goes into a microscope. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, this is fun. Does anybody know what this is? This is actually a movie. This is how movies used to be shown a long time ago. They had reels. And on here are the actual frames of the movie. So a projector would shoot light through this tape. And on the tape, there's little tiny pictures. And as the light went through that tape, this thing would turn and it would project the movie out on a screen. And these little tiny pictures go really fast through here. So fast that your eye can't tell that they're individual frames. And you actually see them as a motion picture. So this is actually, you may have seen one of these before in movies. This is actually what a movie or a film actually looked like. Really cool. It's a great way to store information. We can store visual information. Now, when I was a kid, or younger actually, we stored information all kinds of different ways. Does anybody know what this is? This is actually called a 3.5-inch floppy disk. These were done in computers. Nowadays we use CDs or we download most things. But a long time ago, in the late 90s, early 2000s, we had these. And so there's a little inside here, there's a little magnetic strip that spins. And so on the back it spins around, and that's what stores your data. It stores the information for your computer. So you would put these into your computer, and you would pull up your file and see what your Google Doc was doing. They didn't have Google Docs back then, but see what your document looked like, or your pictures. You would save them on this 3.5-inch floppy. Nowadays we have DVDs, CD-ROMs, and most of the time we just download things or save things to the cloud. But this is a way we used to save data for later. These are all examples of technology. There's technology all around you. You guys probably have some of it. Does anybody know what this is? Well, it's a football, right? Footballs have really good technology. They're made to be a certain size to fit a person's hand. They have lacing here. They're made to be a certain shape in order so they can spiral through the air. They're actually made to be inflated just the right amount, which we found out a couple of Super Bowls ago. But all of the engineering that goes into the football is very important when you're playing the game. so that you can grab it. It's not too big, not too small. It's the same weight that you can throw. There's a lot of engineering that goes into footballs. And if anything, they decide to change anything about a football in like the NFL or in college, then they have to go through a lot of people have to come up to make that decision, because this thing is made perfectly for what they wanted to use to solve that problem of playing football. All of these great technologies. Let's see, what other technology do I have under here? Oh, here's a cool one. This is a simple one. Does anybody know what this is? This is a mechanical pencil, isn't it? You press here, and then the lead comes out the top, and you can write. This had to be engineered. Someone had to make this. This thing, has an eraser on the end, which is nice. It has this little gripper on the front. Why do you suppose they put a gripper on there? Not all mechanical pencils have the gripper, but some engineer thought that it's easier to write and it's easier on your hands if you have a little gripper. So everything from the size of the ink to how much ink you can put in here to even this little thing right here, this little clip, which allows you to clip it on things. Those are decisions that humans made to make this technology better. But what about not an electric pencil? What about just a regular pencil? Is this considered technology? It seems pretty simple, but really it is. This technology, people had to realize, what are we going to make they had to make a decision about what are we going to make to hold the eraser? How long should the pencil be? What kind of lead should we put inside the pencil, the graphite? What kind of wood should the pencil be made out of? What kind of paint should we put on the pencil? All of those had to be decisions that were made by people when they engineered pencils. Now, they engineered pencils for different reasons. This one, of course, is nice because you don't have to sharpen it. You can just kind of go like this. Some people actually like these pencils better because they feel like they write better, they can draw better with those pencils. So they have to solve different problems with different pencils. These pencils are also cheaper. Cost is a lot of times something that engineers really have to think about, because people don't want to spend $5, $10 on a pencil, or even 50 cents. They want to spend a dime or something pretty small in order to get a whole bunch of pencils. So maybe they go with the cheaper one. That doesn't make it any better or any worse because it's just there to solve a different problem. All right, what else do I have? Let's do a tough one, okay? What about this piece of wood? I don't know. It's just a piece of wood. Someone actually cut the piece of wood. Someone actually put some holes in the piece of wood. But is this technology? Does this piece of wood solve a problem? Well, just looking at it, I don't know what problem it would solve, but it could. It could maybe be used as a doorstop. This piece of wood could be used, if you took a piece of wood, just a plain piece of wood, and shaped it just correctly and made it just the right length, you could make yourself a baseball bat, right? So just being a piece of wood could or could not be a technology. This one I would say, maybe not, because I'm not sure exactly what the problem is that it's solving. But if I took the same piece of wood and shaped it like a baseball bat, then it becomes a technology. Or if I use this piece of wood to solve a problem, then it becomes a technology. Just being a piece of wood, though, doesn't work. What about a rock? Is a rock technology? Well, did a person make the rock? Well, probably not. I found it out in my front yard. Does the rock really solve a problem? Well, I guess it's in with a bunch of other decorative rocks, so it might be kind of pretty. So typically a rock isn't a technology. However, a long time ago, people used to take rocks and shape them and make them really sharp. And then they would use those rocks to grind up corn and grind up wheat in order to make bread. Or they would use those rocks to cut things. Or they would use those rocks as the arrow tips in order to hunt. That same rock could be used as a technology. I would say this rock right now probably is not, because no one actually shaped the rock for a purpose. But if I did, then that could be a technology. Actually, if I take this rock and put it on my desk as a paperweight, where it just holds papers down so they don't blow away when I open the window, then that rock's a technology. Because I had to make some decisions about what kind of rock I wanted to use. I wanted a heavy rock, but not too heavy. I didn't want a rock that's going to flake off. I didn't want a rock that would scratch my desk. All those things would be decisions that I would do when I go and find and make the right rock for the right situation to solve that problem. All right, we're going to end with a tough one. Does anybody know what this is? Oh, this is weird. It's a little red thing, and it's got a button on the back. And when I press the button, it's got some little teeth come out. Does anybody know what kind of a problem this would solve? It's definitely a technology. It looks like people made it to do something. Any ideas on what it is? Actually, this is a strawberry picker. So what it does is when you have a strawberry, you take the top of the strawberry and it takes out the leaves on the top of the strawberry and guts the strawberry so you can eat the strawberry. It's really kind of a cool device. It's neat looking and it's fun to play with, but that's what it does. You stick it in the top of a strawberry and it takes out the pit so you can eat the rest of the strawberry. This is definitely a technology, even though it's kind of weird, and it took me a while to figure out what it actually did. So, do you have technologies around you? Today I want you to look around your house and see if you can't find objects that are technologies. Or maybe they're not technologies. Which ones are and which ones aren't? Find one that you think is a technology and open up the worksheet that goes along with this video. It's called Technology Detective, and it has some questions for you about those technologies. What is your object? What did you find? Was it made by a person? What problem does the object solve? But then, just like engineers, we want to try and make that object better. Can we think of a way that we could make that object better? Or can you think of a new object that would kind of solve the same problem? Look around your house, think about all the things. It could be something very simple, or it could be something a little bit more complex. But can you solve that problem by thinking about the technology that's involved? Have a good time, and if you have any questions, please let me know.